to maybe ask how you got into your line of work, Tony, originally.
Sure. Basically, I arrived in the UK in 1990 at the age of 20. Originally come from former Yugoslavia, specifically the Northern Republic of Macedonia. I was in school, and one day the army came in and conscripted all of us into the former Yugoslav army, and ended up in a civil war and almost lost my life on multiple occasions. My life was saved, put on a plane to London, and arrived homeless in London without knowing nobody, without having any money, and sleeping rough on the streets for almost 6 months. And basically from the first 6 months, I literally spent most of my time grieving of the people I lost in the Civil War, grieving my identity, grieving everything I grew up to be and become for myself, for my family, and for what back then Yugoslavia was. So it was total collapse of my identity, total collapse of me as a human being, living on the streets in a city like London without knowing anybody. So, you know, anywhere where I would find a book, anywhere I could do some work, I would do any work. And one of the things I've never done, I've never begged for money. I just offered a lot of free of my services, and people would give me a pound here, a pound there, that I could buy milk, and I could buy a bread, which would last me for a whole week with just drinking water and bread. That was my diet, and maybe a fruit a day for almost 6 months. And then I started doing a lot of work, a lot of jobs, and I used all of that money to educate myself, get back on my feet, heal my wounds, what was happening with my family back in the war zone, but also working almost 20 hours a day, which habit I still have to date, to simply pay for my education, because back then it took Home Office 8 years to give me a refugee and asylum seeker, knowing that almost 2.5 million people lost their lives in former Yugoslavia. So it wasn't as friendly, and I would say not friendly. I mean, I went through a horrible process with Home Office, where basically with half of my family being murdered at time of when we didn't have internet, we didn't have everything else, but the whole world was writing what was happening in former Yugoslavia, and yet they made my life in Britain extremely difficult. You know, I didn't have the support that most people talk about. I just had to find myself, and also this amazing, wonderful people around me that I met on that journey who helped me, and amazing English people who basically took me in their lives as their son. So for me, you know, it's all of those things that helped me to bypass that, but also then invest after I graduated from one of the top universities, UCL. I did engineering and psychology and human behavior. I literally went then on into the corporate world. I worked for 17 years in technology, reading sort of my last project was £7 billion technology programs. But throughout all of that process, part of me, I come from a very spiritual Sufi family. So I come from two major religions, Catholic and Muslim religion, that my parents married with each other, and they married in love. They didn't marry in religion. So they always encouraged me in spirituality. And I believe those spiritual principles and the education that my parents gave me about equality, about empowering women, and about literally being of service and helping others to be better things, that supported me, but also encouraged me consistently to develop my, I would say, understanding of healing, because firstly, I used it to heal my heart and to heal my body and heal all the grief and all the things that I saw, the atrocities that no human being should be seeing, frankly. And I never knew that I will use those things one day to go around the world and help people heal, help people grow, help people achieve their dreams. So even throughout the almost more than 15 years into technology career, everything I was learning, I was investing into psychology, into learning CBT, NLP, life coaching, and also working with some of the top experts in the world privately to really bring my knowledge together, create something unique for the world, and go out there and literally help humanity to raise their vibration, their knowledge, their wisdom. Why? Because the people, when they raise their thing, they don't have racism in them. You know, they don't have all those things, the problems we've created around the world. And they have no intention to create a virus and then infect the whole world and bring people into standstill. So I really believe in upgrading people's psychology and align the body, mind, heart, and soul, because in the soul, we have no difference between one another. It's only the mind that separates what we see around the world. And what we see around the world, it's a reflection of the collective, I would say, energy and consciousness of humanity. So I dedicated my life to bring my work to raise that level at anywhere I go around the world.
Very good, very good. Your strength comes from your struggle, like so many other inspiring people. So what do you see as your vision for your life going forward?
I just finished my fourth book called The Unfakeable Code. This is another process that I've created for people to tap into their originality, meaning there's nobody like you in the world. And instead of going through all those emotions of self-judgment, low self-worthiness, to really bring people's awareness with your originality, you can make a difference in the world. So basically, I'm writing a whole series of books at the moment. And also with a lot of people, I partner up to bring my clients' stories like Tammy and create their products, their services. So the vision is really to bring the TJSE method to change and transform education, business, leadership, government, politics around the world, and creating licensing modules so more people can do and use the method around the world to create transformation, not only in their own businesses, but the people they work with. So really COVID just stopped a bit of the travel, but my work did not stop. My office is behind me and I do all of this work virtually. One of my clients, Tammy, just joined us. We're doing some incredible work with her. She's met a lot of my clients. So really the vision is also to, with my company, the partner company, which I co-partnered and created the documentary and films, to take all of my clients' stories, because they all are such an inspirational to me, to bring them into films and documentaries, and through that, promote their work and help them serve more people and create books and products. So create this family of, I would say, elevated human potential and leaders that really change the world. And really, we can have better politics, we can have better governments, we can have better collaboration, we can have better education, and simply create a vision for humankind that is inspiring. The children of today will thank us in the future.
Yeah, very good.
Excellent.